Okay, Skillest crew. Mainly this one for the online guys or anyone sending in online lessons. But first part definitely relevant for everybody. So when we're online and things are generally technical, which is fine because we're trying to change patterns or swings or movements or whatever, that's great. So send me in your technical drills. Definitely want to see that. So let's say you're working on, let's go something. Let's say you roll the club behind you here, and we're working on a certain position here. So you might have been given a little checkpoint and then wind up and then hit it, that type of thing. So definitely send me in the drills with the pauses. And most of you know that I like breaking it down to pause, go, and then building up to slow motion, go, and then full of swing. So send me in the drills, but I also really want to see your normal shots, which a lot of you do anyway. So once you've done the drills, can you hit it full swing? Um, you don't need to send this to me unless I've requested it, but make sure when you are having a practice, which I'm sure you do, I might request you hitting certain shots. Um, Whether you get the changing technique right or not. So let's say you're working a lot on this, and then whatever it is through the golf ball or whatever I've given you to work on, make sure you spend, if you're practicing the garage, range, wherever you go, make sure you spend, let's say you do an hour, spend the majority of that time doing task game-based activities. So it might be, right, I've done what Ollie told me, I've warmed up, done all these technical stuff, I've filmed it, I've sent it in, and then maybe send in some shots where if your bad shot's a hook and we're working on, changing the club path a little bit, hit some shots where, right, can you do the biggest fade possible? So club face a bit left, feet and body even more left, and can I swing and hit some big fades like that? Send me skills that are maybe relevant to the changes if I haven't asked them already. And even if you don't send them in, yeah, make sure you're working on, those that have got launch monitors at home, which is great. Use the games on there to test your proximity, rather than just standing there, which I guess you don't do, but rather than standing there hitting, 8 iron for a whole hour doing the drills I've given you, make sure you are testing yourself and getting ready for the golf course, because that's what it's all about. We're trying to score lower on the course. So once I've done my technique work, a typical hour practice for me looks like 15 minutes warm up, which will be stretches and specific things I've got to do for myself. But part of that 15 minutes will include hitting high shots, low shots, fades, draws. Because for a draw, I've got to swing out that way, different movement. For a fade, more that way, different movement. For a low one, a higher one, you're going to move differently, warm your body up. So I tend to do that for 15 minutes or so. Then I'll spend the next 15 minutes doing my technical stuff. But to be fair, that's about as long as I can cope doing technique before I have to change it. And then the next half hour, I am trying to hit targets, measure how well I'm doing with certain clubs. I will play on a simulator, maybe a course or a hole or two, relevant to what I'm working on. So for me at the moment, it's longer irons. I'll pick long par threes or longer targets. Likewise, you might have a competition coming up where there's a lot of tight, short par fours. So you don't bother with driver, you hit 2 irons, 3 irons, that type of thing. Or if there's long par threes, the same type of thing. You work in long irons. If it's a shorter course and you can drive it, it's a bit more open. It might be a lot of drivers and wedges. So mix up your practice relevant to what's coming up and what you need to work on. So if someone hooks the ball, can you sharpen hit some fades? Because learning how to hit a fade will certainly reduce your hook, or vice versa if you slice it. But make sure most of your practice is around developing your skills that are relevant to the golf course. Second thing, and then more for the people that are certainly not seeing me in person, but having just online lessons, it happens a little bit, but I want to see this more often. When you have those that subscribe, when you have your live Zoom call, that's great because the feedback's just straight backwards and forwards like it is an in-person lesson. We're just doing it over video. But when you send in the videos of your swings, you haven't got to just send in the swings or the drills, do that as well. But you can have a chat to the camera. You can ask me questions to the camera rather than the messages below. It's easier not to type something and explain it with demos. So you could say things like, you've asked me to turn more, Ollie, which is great, but I feel like when I turn, I feel like I can get the club out here, or I'm stuck in here, or anything that you might be feeling or seeing on the camera. talk to me and I can message you back with a video, which is fine, rather than text all the time. So in your lesson, you can also include chat to the camera. A lot of you have got mics, so you can come up and speak. You can say, right, I'm going to try that drill you gave me to stop the club rolling behind me. You might have some sticks out. And you say, whatever it might be, you say, right, but when I do this, is it correct that I put the club head or the face closed, do I want the face open? Tell me about what you're feeling when you hit shots. Even if you do, again, let's say you're working on, coming more from the inside, you might do something like whatever drill you got set up. So we do a quick one. So let's put those three in there. We're going for the middle of a golf ball, so just a visual thing to encourage that movement. You might say, right, okay, so I've got the idea of the drill early. I've worked on maybe my turn to give me a chance to swing in that way. But you could say, when I do this drill, I feel like I'm hitting the ground early. Should my body be leaning this way? Because it feels like when I do that, I hit the ground, or do you want me to turn? You can tell me things that you're feeling on the camera and let me know how it's going. So rather than just messages, talk to the camera, have a chat with me virtually, and I can reply with a video again. But the two things there, chat to the camera like I just said, and make sure that you aren't just doing the technical stuff I've given you. Can you find relevant shots to hit that relate to what I've given you? If you're struggling for that, let me know, and I'll have a 1,000 different ones for you. Otherwise, stay in touch with the messages as well. I'll do my best to get back to people within a couple of days, which I've done okay with lately. So let us know. But any other questions, feel free to get in touch, and catch up soon.